and I'm trying to make meaning of what garbage means to us through poetry, through interactions, and all that. But that apart, if you have to look at it from a professional setting, I'm a journalist, a researcher, and a waste policy analyst. And I'm a founding member of the Solid Waste Management Roundtable and a trustee at Hasrudala. So the place that we visited today was near Shantinagar bus stop, where the Citizen Waterway project of the K100 Stormwater drain in Bangalore. That's the center point of that particular drain, and that is meant to be an open public space. That's the place that we visited, and with the project, my project is titled As the Drain Goes, because normally in our day-to-day interactions of our everyday life, stormwater drains are invisibilized infrastructure. While they exist, but they're always in the background. And so for me, the whole focus was, why do we look at the stormwater drains only when there is flooding? When there is flooding, that's when everybody starts talking about it. And so I really wanted to dissect the other things that are often ignored in this particular discourse of flooding. So, one day I happened to chance upon the famous Ijipura drain, which was filled with plastic, and that plastic bed continued to haunt me, and that road was on my daily commute to work and back. But at one point, a fine day, I actually managed to stop and go look at the drain and stop and stare at the drain to understand what it is, and that actually that whole viewing of the drain with the plastic made me question our relationship with garbage and drains, or any kind of water bodies, because we've often heard of ocean plastic, plastic in the sea, in river bodies, but seeing the stormwater drain up close was like a some kind of, it triggered like a call to action, make sense of it and see what it is all about. And that's and so I think throughout my the project period, what I'm looking at is, where is the garbage coming in, why is it coming in, is it enough to only blame XYZ communities, or is there something intrinsic that needs to be done? So that's basically what I'm trying. So when I started the particular project, it was immediately after the second wave of COVID, and I think people were still reluctant to meet up. So I just followed my instinct, and I decided to trace the drain, just without even looking at maps. I had done some reading on secondary literature about the stormwater drains as such, but the best way that I felt would be important was to just go follow the drain and see where it leads to. Though I knew the route, so I'm very familiar with the route that the stormwater drain takes, this particular stormwater drain, which is a K100. But I just wanted to follow it, see where it goes underground, see if there are any interconnections of the drain, and that was what I did. But in that journey of discovery, there were a lot of people who came forward, were happy to speak about the drain, share some information, and I think that was a huge learning. Like, even today when we visited the drain, you just found somebody who came in, said hello, and was happy to share information. You had some residents come down and talk about it. So for me, I think my experience has been very positive, and the fact that while looking at the drains, even though I've been living in Bangalore for 30 years, I have started looking at the city anew, because there's a lot of respect now for the names of the places, for the lay of the land. You look at it and you just assume that the world is flat. I mean, that's what I'm making a pun on the statement, but it just gave me a new respect for the city, and a new respect of how do you look at people around, people who inhabit spaces, people who interact with spaces. fact is that there are a lot of documents and data which is not in public domain. And trying to get that is a Herculean task. It could be anything. It could be a court order. It could be a circular passed by the government department. It could be a tender document. It could be some of the old maps, new maps. How have how this thing could be hydrological maps. It could be from a disaster management perspective. Just that sheer data, if it was in public domain, I think that would have been very, very important. I mean, I think I started working on issues of garbage very actively from 2009, and I haven't looked back. And across different streams, especially with the city, not just from a research perspective, but also from a policy advocacy perspective, looking at on-ground implementation. So, because I've been so keenly associated with issues of garbage, I think it was just natural that plastic would call out to me. And at that point in time, everybody was talking about plastic and talking about impact of improper plastic waste disposal, and so that naturally fed into my to what I was doing. And of course, like I always tell people, garbage inspires me to write poetry. So looking at the stormwater drain, poetry just flowed, and I just felt it was just natural that you look at waste and water together. So when the word community comes in, because I have been involved with community media. In fact, I co-founded Community Radio, Radioactive in 2007, and in the course of my tenure with community radio, I have learned to dissect the word community from multiple layers, simply because each one of us at any given point in time belong to multiple communities. The essence of the word community is something shared, so it could be anything. It could be, so for instance, I love dogs. I do belong to a dog lover community. I am actively involved in issues of waste management, so I belong to a waste management community. I write poetry, so I belong to a poets group. So there are multiple layers within each community, and it's very dynamic. So today I might belong to one, tomorrow I may not. So for me, the word community transcends beyond geography or beyond interest, and it's basically something shared, is what I would like to say. So I think it's going to be in terms of what we are seeing and the way we are seeing what we are seeing. How do we see things? Why do we see things? What do we see when we not see some things? So, and I'm talking about it from a context of a city, because when you look at a city, there are too many elements that come together, and while the base of it might be infrastructure, at the heart of it is people and animals and everything else that inhabit the space. So when you are looking at a particular problem or you're looking at a particular issue, I think you have to look at it from a holistic, well-rounded perspective. Not just look at it in a piecemeal approach, but look at it in a whole. So I think that's what would be my take-home message.